Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn and I use she, they pronouns, and welcome to the Make Everything podcast. This is a podcast where I share mostly knitting content, but I do share like my paintings that I do. I'm also an artist, and any other kind of crafty business that I get up to, I also share that on this podcast as well. I am coming to you from my home here in the Blackstone Valley of Massachusetts, where I live with my two cats, Frog and Toad, and my partner David, who is almost never here. So today I have two finished objects. I don't have anything on my needles currently, but I will show you one of my finished objects. I actually finished it last night, and it will be going back onto my needles because there are a few things that I want to fix for that project. It just got super cloudy. I'm sorry, we've been in the middle of this heat wave and now it's gonna rain today. So now it's super cloudy and I'm sorry if this video ends up really dark. At some point I want to mess with my settings and try and do like a fixed exposure so it stops getting dark and then light. I will get there eventually. So I don't have too much time before I actually have to work today, so I'm going to have to make this a quick episode, even though that usually never turns out right. Usually never works out that way. So anyways, let's get right into it. I have two finished objects, like I said, no whips currently. I do have acquisitions, and then I have something else that I traded at a recent fair that I want to show you. These two pieces of artwork from somebody else that was at the fair. So we'll get started. I'm sure you are super tired of this. This is the redo of the Lenna top that I finished, and it is different from, let me grab the last one, it's still sitting here. This is the washed version. The previous version, you can see it has a garter strap. It has the increases down the center. It's very slanty. Okay, anyways, this is the redo. So I didn't really do a strap at all for this one. This just like immediately jumped right into starting the triangles. And when I did the increases in the center cup, I did them much wider so it looked a little bit less obvious. I didn't do make one increases, I did lifted increases instead. And then underneath I tried to do some shaping and kind of did some decreases like where the underbust would start. So I like it. I don't love it. I haven't washed it yet, so maybe the gauge will shrink, and wow, you can really see through that. It doesn't look that terrible when I put it on, I promise. It's not that see-through against my skin, but maybe I'm crazy. The back piece still turned out way too big, and it wasn't when I knit it, but then whenever I put this garment on, the back piece stretches out a lot. I even added, as you can see, I added a little I-cord on the back. And originally I did it way too tight, and then it like was squeezing, so then I had to loosen it up a little bit. And that does help a little, but something about this garment just isn't right still. And sadly, when I went to go grab my new yarns that I'm going to show you later in the video, I did take this yarn back to Peter Patches, and I was like, I'm really struggling with knitting with this. It has so much extra twist. I'm never gonna knit something with it again. I just know I have too much of a hard time. Oh, I don't know what that was. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Oh, don't tell me they're gonna do construction now. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why do you start construction at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Hopefully it was just one loud bang and that's it. So anyways, maybe at some point I will try to rip out some of this and fix it. Maybe. This is all maybe right now. I really love this yarn. I love the color. I like how it feels. I think maybe I'll wash it and then see if maybe I'll make some modifications. this is gonna go into like a UFO pile. Even though it is a finished object, I don't think I'm gonna wear it as it stands right now, which is kind of sad. But maybe one day I will get back to that, put it back on my needles, and fix it up. But for right now, I can't mentally handle working with that yarn again right now. That's going to segue me into my next project, and I will talk about the yarn first. This is what I knit it on, and oh, this color is so dreamy to me. I love a good green, and this is Woolike. Oh, there we go. Woolike. This is the Loops and Threads. So this is a Michaels brand. Michaels is a local chain craft store, if you don't know what that is. It is 620 meters per 100 grams, 85% acrylic and 15% nylon. So it's super lightweight. I had to use, I think this is the smallest needle size I've ever worked with so far. And I used a US 3, even though this recommends a US 2. So I think a US 3 is 3.25 millimeters. I think. Don't quote me on that. And this is machine washable and dryable, which I really like. So let me show you. It is anticlimactic. It's another Lenna top. I decided after that one that I still really want this finished garment. This idea in my head is so pretty, and I really want the garment. So I did it on this yarn, and it turned out so much better. I did some shaping under the cup area or the boob area, and it is so form-fitting, and it looks so flattering on me. I'm not going to do a wardrobe change right now. I don't think I have time to do that before I have to start working, but I had to redo all of my math because this is such a different gauge. I think this ended up being, when I knit my gauge swatch, it was 22 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And then when I knit the actual garment, I think it was 20 stitches. So I accounted for 2 inches of negative ease. And then I think because my gauge ended up bigger, it was only like 1 inch of negative ease, which is still fine. I tried to fix that with the back piece and make the back piece 2 inches of negative ease as well. And the back is still too big. It's still too big. So I did a little I-cord edging around the bottom, and oh, you can see it's really, really curling. I have not washed this. I finished this at 2 o'clock in the morning last night. So I did a little 2-stitch I-cord edging. I don't think that was the right choice. This project is going to go back onto my needles tonight so that I can fix it up, because I think most of it came out exactly the way that I wanted. The only things that I'm going to change is I'm going to do a very simple bind off. I'm just going to do like the knit and pattern bind off and not worry about anything fancy on the bottom, because I like that the I-cord kind of kept it in position, but it was too, I didn't like that it didn't have any stretch at all. So I'm gonna negate that completely. No I-cord for this one. What else was I gonna do? When I tried this on, I think I knit 1 extra repeat than I would have liked. So I'm actually gonna rip out 10 rows from the front and the back. And when I rip out the back piece, I'm actually going to rip out up until I think 22 rows. This was 72 rows in the back. And I think I'm going to rip out to 20, and then I will have the next 40 rows because I'm going to take out 10. So I'm going to have 62 total. So I'll have 40 rows to do decreases on both sides and do waist shaping in the back piece. And that will hopefully get rid of all this extra fabric, because when I hold it up, when I put this on and I try to tighten it in the back to where I would like it to fit and then the ease that I would like, I have like this much extra fabric in the back. So it's a lot. So I'm going to fix this tonight, and this is going to go back on my needles, so no longer a finished object. The way that I constructed this, it is going to be really annoying to take it apart. Maybe I'll explain that in a later video. But another measurement that I did, and this might seem a little weird, is because I kept having an issue with the neck strap being too long, what I did for a measurement was I went around my neck and I measured nip to nip, and that was going to be how many how many inches I needed to calculate how many rows until I got to the full bust. And then I did the same thing. I took the measuring tape and I put it like where I wanted the V-neck to end, and went around, and I calculated that way how many rows I wanted until I stopped the V-neck. And then I did the same thing with like held it under the arm, went around my neck, calculated that, and that actually ended up being the same as the V-neck. So, which I think was 28 inches around the neck to get to the V and to the arm hole opening that I wanted, and then 29 and a half to get to full bust measurements. And then I did all my math from there. So I calculated all the rows. And I think when I did my gauge swatch again, it was 28 rows per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And then I stretched it a little bit because I knew this was going to stretch out. It's like as soon as I put all of the weight on this strap here, it was going to stretch out. And I think when I stretched it, it turned into 26 rows. And it stretched out even more than that. So I think this is still actually too big. And I don't know how to fix that, actually. Other than maybe I'll go in and I'll like slip stitch in the center. I'm just going to leave this rolled. I honestly kind of like that it looks like an I-cord, even though I didn't knit it like an I-cord. I think this is only 8 stitches across, and it just rolls, and it kind of looks nice. So I think maybe I can go and like slip stitch inside of this and just do a chain and kind of tighten it up that way. Ooh, that actually does sound like a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try that tonight and try and keep it from stretching out so that it stays and keeps the V-neck right where I want it. So as you can see, I have like, I don't know if that's on camera. There we go. So I have quite a bit of space that I would like to kind of tighten it back up. So that's the plan for this. This is going back on my needles tonight. And those are my only 2 finished objects. Like I said, no works in progress right now. So let's get into the acquisitions. I have 3 new cones of yarn, and I think I probably have enough yarn now for 10 years of projects. But anyways, can never have enough yarn. My stash is going to be so full. This is one of the most beautiful colors I've ever seen. This is like a very purpley taupe kind of color, and I'm so in love with it. This is 100% cotton, and let me tell you a little bit about my plans for this. So I can't remember if I had the idea before I picked up the yarn or after I saw it. I can't remember which came first, but it was like immediate connection. This has to go with this project. And what I want to do is, excuse me, I want to do, let me get this out of the camera. I want to do kind of like a very loose, drapey, boxy kind of shirt, almost like when you see those ponchos that have sleeves. So I want it to go like a drop shoulder so that it falls like down to the elbow, I would say, or honestly even past the elbow, like a 3/4 length. And then do like a little taper all the way down to the hip, and do like a very, very loose ribbing, very like small cuff here, and do a nice textured stitch pattern the whole way down, the front and the back. I can't decide if I want to find like a lighter color, like if I want to do maybe this cotton for the cuff and the hem. I can't decide. Maybe I'll just do like all this color. Not sure yet. Sorry, I have fiber flakes are flowing into, wow, fiber flakes was the wrong word to use for that. pieces of fiber are flying everywhere into my mouth and nose, and I'm so sorry. So that's that yarn. And then the other 2 cones that I got are 100% linen. And I'm so excited to work with it. This, I love the color, and it's softer than the other linen yarns that were at the store. I do not have a specific plan in mind for this. Probably just another t-shirt kind of thing. It's very summery, very loose, kind of super positive ease kind of garment, drapey. I love drape. So that's, I don't really have much else to say about this. This is 100% linen. As you can see, I don't know if you can even see, it's so fuzzy. This is very soft for linen, I think. I think this is probably just as soft as like this. No, this cotton is definitely softer. Even this is like much drier than this. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like, if I'm being totally honest. This is my first time working with 100% linen, or linen in general. I haven't even worked with a linen blend. This is what I am most excited about. And if you can see, my color choices are trending in a certain direction. This is another 100% linen. And I don't know if you can see, it's very shiny in person, and it's actually almost crunchy to the touch. But the reason I wanted to work with 100% linen so badly is because I've heard that through wear and through washes, it really softens up. And I just really like that idea. I don't know why. I'm like fascinated by things changing over time in like a very general sense. Like I'm very fascinated by the process of aging. I'm very fascinated by things softening up with wear, and for whatever reason, that whole concept of things changing over time is very fascinating to me. So I really wanted to try linen and experience that softening in action. This is going to turn into, because this is so much yarn. This is so much yarn. This is a huge cone. This is going to turn into a full size, like to the floor, like kind of like an A-line romper. Like a very, very, very much positive ease tank romper to the floor. I'm not explaining it very well. You kind of get the idea. It's romper. I'm getting too excited to explain things accurately. I imagine this as a tank, and it'll have like, I want to say like an open kind of flappy V, almost like if you had done like a connected in the round, except this will have like the cut here so that the little corners can like fly open. Really like that look for some reason. That feels very summery to me. And then once again, a lot of positive ease, very loose and drapey, all the way down to the floor, kind of wide leg kind of situation. That's the plan. I'm so excited for that. I might actually have to stop being a monogamous knitter so that I can work on that periodically in between the rest of my knits that will satisfy that need for completion, I guess. As a monogamous knitter, I mostly knit for the finished product. I really, really enjoy the process of knitting a lot. It's very therapeutic. There are definitely aspects of putting together a garment, like seaming up the sides or doing like the little bit of lace in the middle. I find that very relaxing to do, to kind of focus on a pattern repeat and stuff like that. There are things that I deeply enjoy about knitting in the process, but I find I get very discouraged if I don't have a finished object fairly quickly, I want to say. Like if I don't have a finished object within like 2 weeks, I start getting very discouraged that it's not, I start feeling like I'm not making any progress, even though I probably am if I'm not like completely neglecting that project. So I get a lot out of the sense of accomplishment that comes with finishing something and then being able to wear it right away. So anyways, my fiber content is done for the day. I'm going to share these 2 pieces of artwork that I picked up from one of the other vendors that was at the this was the Hot Night in Worcester art fair. Was last Friday. It ran from 4 to 9 p.m. and it was so fun. I got to meet so many local artists and artisans, like just crafters. And I really like ceramics. Ceramics is one of those hobbies that I have not gotten into yet, and I think I'm very much afraid of like failing at ceramics, and that's kind of keeping me from jumping into it. That, and I'm one of those people where if I'm not very good right at the beginning and I don't have like all of the tools I need to do like professional grade work, I don't want to do it. So like I wouldn't want to jump into ceramics unless I like had a kiln in the backyard, which is so ridiculous because why am I going to spend the money on a kiln to do like professional ceramics when I have never done ceramics before? Anyways, it's holding me back, and that's something I need to get over. But the lady that was next to me, in the booth next to me, I had 2 wonderful ladies next to me, and I'm so sorry I forget both of their names. One of them was Seismic something, and she made jewelry. And the other one was like, I forget. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names. But she did ceramics. But I could not afford the ceramics at the time, and so I asked her to trade. And so I gave her one of my original paintings, and she gave me these. I can't tell if the plastic is making a glare. Hopefully not. These are so pretty. Let me hold it from the side so you can see everything. These are so pretty. Oh my God. I can't say enough like good about these. And so I traded her one of my original paintings, which was a 4x6. It was part of my postcard series, which I actually don't think I've even posted anywhere, if I'm being totally honest. But it was a super cute painting of this little calico cat walking with a chicken, and they were just kind of like walking in front of a little picket fence. And she saw it and she was like, oh my God, I used to have a cat just like that, and she would walk around with the chickens, and like it was so perfect for her. So I traded that one for these 2 paintings. And what I think I'm going to do for these 2 paintings is I'm going to start going to my local Savers, because it's only like 5 minutes up the road. I have a thrift store right up the road from me. But the Savers has tons of stock constantly coming in, especially for frames, and they're very nice frames too. So I'm gonna keep going back over the next couple of weekends, or even couple months, however long it takes, until I find perfect antique-y looking frames for these, because I picture these in something like bronzy, like very like antique looking, to kind of match some of the deeper tones, like the rusty colors in these paintings. I picture that being what I match to frame these up, and then I actually think I'm going to hang them right behind you guys on the wall here so that I can look at them all the time in my bedroom. I just love these so much. I love abstract artwork. I don't know what it is, but like there are just some pieces that like, I think because abstract artwork to me has more, it conveys more of a feeling than it does an image. Like you can look at an image and feel a lot of things, absolutely. But to me, abstract artwork, like with all of the colors and like you're not seeing something that your brain automatically recognizes. And to me, that has a lot more feeling and connection. And so I really like abstract artwork, especially with color choices like this. I love it so much. So these are actually, they feel like, does anybody remember that trend with Zen doodles? Because these feel like Zen doodles, but with a lot of watercolor in them. I just like them. They feel very fun to me. So those are going to hang up on the wall above you guys so I can look at them all the time, along with my Winnie the Pooh quote. If you don't know me, I love Winnie the Pooh very much. I'm actually thinking to eventually get, oh, I'm sorry, I'm showing you my massive vein. I want to get a Winnie the Pooh tattoo inside of my arm, and if you've ever read the storybooks, there's an image there's a tree from the flood, and there's a branch, and there's Pooh sitting with all of his honey pots, and those were the only things that he saved from the flood. And that was from, oh, I want to say that was like one of the fall stories. And they had that song that was like, and the rain came down, something. I was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh as a kid. I watched all the shows. I had all the books. I have, if you can see let me see if I can do it. Oh, it's so dark now. Over here on the bookshelf, the books right there are all of my, like really old, and kind of tattered Winnie the Pooh storybooks. They have like the full collections and like the original illustrations and stuff like that. So I'm very much a fan of Winnie the Pooh. Anyways, that was a tangent I didn't expect to get on for this. So that is everything that I have to share with you today. And oh my god, we actually kept it really quick. That is wonderful. I haven't managed to get a video in under 30 minutes, I don't think, since I started. So thank you all so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you're staying cool and hydrated in this heat wave. Maybe you're getting some rain as well, and that will be very nice for all of the foliage around us. And my poor dead grass really needs it, and I'm sure your grass really needs it too. You can find me on Instagram as All We Make Is Good, and I'm also on Ravelry as All We Make Is Good, even though I'm really bad about updating my Ravelry page with any of my projects or really anything. I just mainly use it to search for inspiration, but you can still find me there. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for being here. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Jocelyn. How do I begin my videos? I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, thank you for coming back.